What we say around here is that the first Reformation gave the Bible back to the people.
Mm-hmm.
The second Reformation that we're in now is giving ministry back to the people.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that we do in this discussion, Cole, is to talk about the variety of churches in Middle Tennessee and the different styles. I have this theory that there's a reason Baskin-Robbins has 31 flavors of ice cream, and not everybody likes the same flavor, and not everybody. So you followed a very good friend of ours. He's a good friend of mine. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Mike's been great to me.
If you would claim harder to be your friend.
I got to know his dad real well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. His dad and I still chat.
Yeah.
Mike and I text every 3 or 4 months. Yeah.
And so when I met Mike, he was the gospel church was being planted kind of thing. And then
he came out of Memphis.
He came out of our – I had forgotten that connection.
The church around the corner from mine.
So he came, did that, came and worked on our staff at Brentwood for a while, and then from there went to where he is now at First Baptist Spartanburg. So what was it that attracted you to the gospel church? And
I needed a job.
That's right. Employment.
When I left my former church, I didn't have a place to go. Which, there's a story in that. When you leave and nowhere to go, it's kind of a protest.
Yeah.
And I was under the greatest stress I'd ever known in church life. My oldest son was still having a bout with drugs and alcohol, so that had taken a lot of our emotional margin. Church was great to me in that. But we hit, in 2019, a challenge of we had a Mother's Day out crisis, which we handled well, but it still, people lose confidence. When somebody associated with it gets accused of what one of our employees got accused of, there was no way to know whether that had happened or not. But, and then, 2020 comes in, hold my beer.
Yeah, COVID.
You've got COVID, racial reconciliation, or racial reckoning in a city like Memphis. And so you just found I just suddenly began I was put in a series of double binds.
Right.
No matter what I did, there was going to be critique
fallout.
And fallout. And I think it was just in a place where I just no longer had the emotional margin to take it. Looking back and subsequent, a lot of great healing since then. But at the time, I think what I didn't realize is that 90% of the church was thankful I was there and supportive. There was just a 10% vocal.
They can be loud.
They were loud.
They can be loud.
And they just made trouble. And so we got discouraged. And so I left, and I didn't assume that I'd just bop into something else, but it took a year. And so when the gospel church put a shingle out, I answered and knew somebody who knew the church, but thought, well, I'm middle-aged, they're young, I don't think they're going to be interested. But one discussion led into another. I actually tried to get them to hire their young interim at the time, and they called me back a week later and said, would you have another conversation with us? So I took it that the Lord was opening the door.
Let's go back to that year you had between ministries.
Yeah.
I would see that, and maybe you would, as some kind of failure.
Oh yeah. You have to fend off that.
I was left alone for a year. I didn't have a job, all that kind of stuff. In retrospect, how important was that year for your healing? Could you have gone from what you had just gone through to another position without that year to catch your breath and heal?
I think I needed the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly enough, and I don't necessarily, this can sound like I'm put more stock in this than I do. It was a year to the day and the very hour that I had resigned.
Wow.
And had my final time at my old church that the new church came calling.
Mm-hmm.
And so it almost felt like the Lord saying through that, I've given you a year. You're gonna use the year.
Yeah.
But it was tough because
I think a lot of us don't pay attention to the time that we need to heal.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't
pastors
get over
just tend to
this.
put our head down and do the next thing and think
and
it'll get better. It'll get better.
And it festers and then it really gets sideways down the road.
And I got some therapy, and I've got a very I had a good therapist, and my wife is wonderfully supportive, and I've got good friends. And so it's certainly the things that God uses to deepen your prayer life and pull you nearer. I think that happened in that time too.
Yeah. So you end up at Gospel Church, and as you said, you don't seemingly fit the profile.
Right.
The Gospel Church is aimed at the young professionals in the Green Hills, Nashville area.
Yeah, kind of the West End, Sylvan Park.
Yeah. Area.
We draw from other places, but yeah, that's where it sits.
You are, as I am, a more seasoned.
That's right. I like to tell people I'm not in the sunset of my days, but I have had lunch.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. You're in the afternoon. Sure. What intrigued you to become pastor of a church like the Gospel Church?
They made it evident that they felt like they needed to transition from being in startup mode, even kind of start over mode, to a more stable, established church, which really just takes building infrastructure.
Right.
But I didn't come in as any kind of expert in that. I didn't know if I could do that. And so we started with the elders. We had 3 elders at the time. One stepped aside, left us with 2. We took 6 guys in the church that looked like they could lead and were ready for something, and did my elder training that I do in-house with elders. We focus on the doctrinal and the moral and the relational component of eldership. And we tapped 3 of those guys to be elders, appointed them with the other 2 and myself to be elders, and then implemented a rotation system, some kind of way to allow some breaks in the service of eldering. And then after that, we turned to a mission board, installing that, a finance committee, and then back in May, we installed our first deaconate. And so the infrastructure that we needed to build, I think, helped the church just get a sense of, all right, these are the tracks we're going to run on ministry-wise. We're building this for the purpose of ministry. But we're also, my philosophy of ministry is to try to give it to the people in the church as much as you can, capable people with a sense of calling who give the time. And in every respect, I've been very pleased at who has stepped forward and been willing to be called and asked to serve.
What we say around here is that the first Reformation gave the Bible back to the people. The second Reformation that we're in now is giving ministry back to the people.
I think I've experienced aspects of that. And so that's been really rewarding and encouraging. And that's been a 3-year work. So we kind of think in 3-year installments. And so we have just started thinking through the next 3 years.
A good biblical number, huh?
Yeah. They're not 40 or 7. We think in 3. But I think looking out over the next 3 years, we're trying to figure out how do we make this fruitful now? We've done the work of the installation of these.
Put the skeleton in the body.
That's right. And now how do we make it fruitful?
Now how do we make the body move and
we've
become
got
productive?
Good mission, good vision, good values, good initiatives. How do we work those to where our folks really see that as, all right, this is what it means to be in this church?
What is it that makes the Gospel Church unique?
Well, I don't know if I think of us as unique.
Mm-hmm.
I like the mix of people we have. We don't just have younger people.
Mm-hmm.
We've got, and I figured this might happen. Middle-aged guy gets there. We get some more middle-aged people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I think, well, here's a uniqueness as I think about your question. I don't know of another church our size, a smaller church that sees new people every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, assimilating them in is a whole other,
It's a challenge for anybody, yeah, but still.
But we see them every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm amazed by that. And I don't know what accounts for that fully. We ask people sometimes, and sometimes they just say, well, we just found you. We didn't really necessarily, or we were passing by the street corner and we saw it and thought your name said, you're probably people that believe the scriptures and try to exalt Jesus, and we are. So that's been a uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other unique thing, I don't know if it's so unique to me, I would hope a lot of my pastoral brothers have had the same experiences. I have felt like they've been very responsive to what I've aimed us toward without it feeling like I'm pushing anything or there was a concern when I came in voiced by some of the folks in the church that were older. Well, you're going to have this young elder crew and you're just going
to bulldoze them.
Yeah. That's not who I am. Not what I want to do. I want them to be as much owners in this as I am. And I think they are. And I've really, I can't affirm my young elders enough. These guys are really, really good elders. And I tell them, I don't tell them enough. I tell them at times, I ought to tell them every time we meet, you guys don't know how well you're doing. You're doing this work so good.
Yeah.
And you're good shepherds, and you're good administrators, and you're good leaders. And they do. I mean, they just are. I've served with a lot of elders in a lot of different church contexts. I've been a church planter. I've been a large church pastor. And now I'm back in a small church. And these guys, I believe, are the finest group of elders as a group I've ever had.
That's some strong endorsement.
And I really, really do esteem and value these guys. They're great.
So what's your hope for Gospel Church? What's your dream?
Well, at this stage in ministry, when you see a lot of failures and a lot of debris and a lot of flash in the pan, and we're all excited about this guy and his thing. And, man, I'd like to 10 years from now when I'm in my late 60s, 20 years from now when I'm in my late 70s, whether I'm at the Gospel Church or not, see that church is still true to its mission to make disciples of Jesus who know they're loved and sent. Still wants to make much of Jesus, is a place where people can meet the Lord and can be discipled, can grow in a relationship with Christ. I want to bless. I've realized at this point in my life, now being a grandfather and 30 plus years married and kids are grown, I want to bless. And I understand blessing to be a promotion of well-being. And so I'm happy to get out of the way. I'm happy to be behind the scenes. I don't need a spotlight. I don't want the falderall. I want substance. And so that's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, you're going to get worse than that.
That might be good.
Yeah, as somebody who's a little more toward the sunset than you. Yeah, that gets worse.
Yeah, they just think there's something to really, whenever it comes time to, I mean, I don't know why I'm like this. Everywhere I've served, I've always thought of my successor and wanting to leave it for him.
Yeah. One of my favorite books is called 10-10-10. Have you read it?
No.
It's by Susie, oh gosh, who was the famous CEO of GE? It's his Welch.
Oh, yeah. Jack Welch.
Yeah.
It's his wife?
It's his wife, his widow. Yeah. She has a book called 10-10-10. Take 10 minutes to think about the next 10 months, next 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is it that the future self is going to look back at you and say, be mad at you about, or be happy with you about,
Yeah.
So in 10 years, when you look back on the gospel church, what is it? Yeah, that's the same thing you're saying, is that here are the things that I'll be looking for.
Yeah.
And I want to do the things now that I have to do to do that.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. I mean, you take wisdom wherever you can find it.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
I can utilize that.
Well, when we were working through the transition at Brentwood Baptist Church and I was getting ready to step aside, I told some friends, because they were asking me about it, and I said, listen, 10 years from now, there's going to be a family come to Brentwood Baptist Church looking for a church home. So one of them can minister to their family, the kids, the husband, the wife, and they're counting on me to make the decisions right now that will have the church in a place that can handle that family.
A proactive
proactively.
Approach.
Yeah, with that.
Yeah. How many years were you at?
32.
That's as long as I've been married.
Yeah, I get. I wasn't even born when. I get that a lot. Yeah,
I've dated Lynn for 35 years, been married to her for 32.
Yeah, Jeannie and I just celebrated 45.
Oh wow.
Years of marriage. So we went on a big trip. I told somebody, your first anniversary is dinner and roses. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 45th, you got to drop some change. So, you got to blow it out on that. So,
we did Israel on 25th anniversary. Yeah. Went to Israel. Yeah.
So, what excites you about being a pastor?
Well,
let me tell you why I asked that. Mm-hmm. We hear all the negative stories about how badly you're treated. You and I both have that in our past. That kind of stuff. Yeah. So why did you get back in it?
Yeah, because I thought about being a truck driver.
And listen, we all do.
I did.
We all do.
Tow truck driver or just an over-the-road
hauler. I want to get in the truck. I want everybody to talk to me. I just want to drive.
Yeah, and I realized I'd largely be hiding out if I did that. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a modern day Jonah purchasing the ticket for Tarshish. I think what excites me about being a pastor is the long obedience in the same direction. That you can put one foot in front of another for a career. Mm-hmm. You can stay at the same objective. The churches may change and the people you work with, but that sense of getting to a place in life where you can survey and look back, if you're allowed that, if I don't die in my sleep one night before I get to do it, and savor not so much my own faithfulness, but how God used ministry and the pastoral calling to show in manifold and continual ways his faithfulness to me. And that I can get excited about.
Yeah.
Because I can see it. I do see it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I would tell people. People would say, hey, Mike, I wouldn't have your job. And I would shrug and say, you don't get to see what I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it is an odd vocation.
It is.
And it's an odd calling. And yet, the things that I value the most about the Lord, I don't know that I learned or gotten without being a pastor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have to preach another sermon. I could still do the work.
Yeah.
What I like more now God's faithfulness to me in giving me a sermon every week, and I'm still preaching 40 times plus a year. So every week there's that faithful provision of. I love the early morning on Sundays at the church by myself, walking in the sanctuary and thanking God for, I got another sermon. You've provided it, because I polish them. But I would do.
And remembering the week before you walked out exhausted, not having a clear thought in your head.
And still, I've been doing this for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And still looking at a text and going, what am I going to say about this?
Yeah. That 500 other guys haven't already said. Yeah.
Like a sense of bewilderment on the front, knowing that he's always given me a sermon.
That's right.
It's like, how many times does he have to do this?
That's right. Before.
But I think that, I always think that beginning sort of it just keeps you humble. It keeps you realizing that you're a receptor.
Yeah, you get the manna you need for the day.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say worthwhile to anyone unless he gives it. And I really believe he does. And so, but I if I stop preaching tomorrow, just the walking with people, present to people, helping them understand, not that I have every insight, but helping them understand struggle and suffering, as well as their joys and their satisfactions in life. That's been rewarding too. Yeah. It's not just been the preaching. I've kind of led with my preaching. My preaching has credentialed everything else I've done in ministry through the years. But without the preaching, I'd still want to draw near people and be a help if I can.
Yeah.
Sounds real general, but
well, no. The interesting thing is, and I've gone through the same thing, because I love to preach.
Yeah,
for the vast part of my ministry, that was what I lived for, was that. And now you get to a point where I was talking to a friend the other day, and I said, the weird thing about my life right now is I don't need a platform.
Yeah,
I don't need to preach every Sunday.
Yeah.
And for me to hear myself say this, it's like, dude, what's wrong? Right.
Yeah.
But my joy comes, and my success now is in pouring your life into younger pastors, other pastors, and watching them succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there really is a joy in that.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to believe, and I do believe it, that is some indication that you've kind of learned the key in this.
Yeah.
And that is that whether you talk about pouring yourself out or, it's...
Yeah. Or like I tell people, wisdom means I screwed up before you did. That's all wisdom is.
I've got the marks on my body to bear.
Yeah. As Paul says, I bear on my body.
I know this one. But that is like, those are precious, valuable things that you take nothing for. I'd never want to go back and repeat the mistakes.
No, but I won't give back the lesson I learned
absolutely
either.
Not.
No.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do to stay spiritually healthy for this long haul? I
read widely, and so even in reading non-Christians, I don't read trash, but just not everybody I read's Christian, and seeing them articulating things that I know where that comes from.
Yeah,
God's creativity, and reading widely has been a big lifeblood thing for me.
Right.
What
are you reading now? What's on your nightstand now?
I'm reading. I'm rereading a book by Eugene Peterson called The Contemplative Pastor. A buddy asked me to read it with him, so I think it's the third time I've read it. And it's amazing how you get new things you just never saw before.
Yeah.
Or I'll see what I marked 20 years ago. I'm reading a book by a guy who during COVID became a mailman in Blacksburg, Virginia.
I saw the article on that book. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
He was an economist.
Right.
I guess he still is, but he was out of a job. he found out in the Charlotte airport that he was axed. And so he goes home to Blacksburg where he lives, and he becomes a mailman. And it's kind of his year. It's, not a Christian. There's a lot of profanity in the book, but he is himself.
Yeah.
I let authors be themselves. And then I'm reading a book that N.T. Wright's son put together of a lot of his insights from his books on the things like the Ascension and Easter, and it's called On Earth as in Heaven. And that's been really good.
Yeah. Anything by N.T. Wright, you can spend some time with.
I found Wright he makes me think.
Yeah.
I appreciate authors that make me think.
I don't necessarily need to agree with them all the time, but I like to wrestle with them.
I always say I don't agree with myself all the time either. So I have to give authors their due. So the reading widely, reading Scripture. I mean, just staying with the Scriptures. Amazing how you can get away from that. And you're a pastor, you're opening a Bible every week, but you could have not read it. And so I just made I use the McShane calendar. I've been using it for forever. I get behind and I don't worry about it. I just go to the next day. And then I do think one reason in the Peterson book, it's fresh, top of mind, because I'm reading about it, the prayer life. I use prayer cards, but I've been using the Valley of Vision book a lot.
Yes. Again, one of the underground classics.
They're fantastic. Yeah. I mean, so many times I open that, and the lines, it's just like, there's times I'll just kind of drop it in my lap and just go, Lord, it's exactly what I want to say to you. Thank you for this. So I've been loving that. Cornelius Plantinga has a prayer book called Morning and Evening. I've enjoyed that. John Bailey has one. I've actually tried to incorporate prayer books a little more than I ever have in the last few years.
Have you found that discipline helpful?
The written prayers? Yeah. It's kind of Plantinga gives in his Morning and Evening in the intro the justification for using written prayers. And he gives about 4 things. I won't remember them, but I think one of them is that we get stale.
Yeah.
And so
start saying the same words over and over again.
Somebody else's language or way of putting it. Or I didn't even think to pray that, I think it's expanding.
Yeah.
It's not limiting me.
Or sometimes somebody writes down exactly, as you were saying earlier, this is exactly what I wanted. See?
Yeah.
That's what I experienced when I read I Stand by the Door by Samuel Shoemaker, the poem that he wrote about his ministry.
Yeah.
I said, this guy's been reading my mail, this.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because another thing I've tried to incorporate is poetry, which I guess, for some reason, my parents didn't give me this sense. I think just growing up in the context I grew up, there was some sort of poetry just for sissies or something.
Yeah, you grew up in North Alabama,
Grew up on sports fields in North Alabama. You reading poetry?
Yeah, right. What's wrong with you, boy?
What's wrong with you, son? But man, I have gained. In fact, there's a little poem I've just been meditating on it this week. It's by Lucy Shaw, who my mom knew. I think she taught at Regent College in Vancouver. It's a little poem called Forecast. And it says, planting seeds inevitably changes my feelings about rain.
Ah.
Isn't that good?
Yeah. Well, there's something, you and I spend our life in words.
Yeah.
The poet spends their life in how few words can I use.
Yeah. And they pick pictorial words that are full flower words. Yeah. They've got pollen, leaves, flowers, petals. Christian Wyman is a poet I've been reading some. His theology is Christian church. He's a Yale divinity guy. But and even that, I mean, you just learn to pick through, and I I don't have to read everything that agrees with me.
No, you don't have to pick up everything on a smorgasbord.
Yeah,
that's
right.
You can leave some stuff.
Yeah, we've got a nice Asian buffet out in Bellevue that that makes me think of. There's certain things I'm not going to pick up.
That's right.
And they've got usually 3 chili pictures by them. I can't do the hot
can't
stuff.
do that. We'll have to do this again. I have enjoyed this.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, let me remind us of a couple of important things that Cole has talked about. One, take the time you need to heal. A lot of us are going through hard times. You don't want to rush that healing. You need the time so that you can be prepared to do in your life what God wants to do in the future. So whatever you have to do to identify the pain, dress the pain, get to a good counselor, and treat your pain with the respect it deserves. Understand how basic this life is. I know we read a lot about this guy and this guy and this guy, but a lot of this is blocking and tackling. It's walking with people who are going through hard times. It's celebrating with people who are rejoicing. It's being there to grab your little 2-year-old granddaughter when she panics in the church in the middle of a wedding. It doesn't get better than that. So I hope you're encouraged. This is the Engaged Church Network podcast. This is Cole Huffman. He is the pastor of the Gospel Church here in Nashville, and I'm Mike Glenn, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Engaged Church Network podcast. We exist to train healthy and skilled leaders for congregations throughout Middle Tennessee. If today's episode helped you, share it with a fellow leader. And don't forget to visit engagedchurchnetwork.com for more ways to grow.